Do you dream of being super skinny? Think again. We're in the grip of an epidemic. We're obsessed about our weight, the food we eat, and the way we see our bodies, and it's becoming dangerous. The latest craze to become super skinny is pushing many young people into a new danger zone. At the same time, more and more of us are getting clinically obese and eating ourselves into an early grave. Our relationship with food and weight has never been more extreme. Time for a reality check. Here is the man who will cut through the weight debate. Dr Christian Jessen will be stuffing the super skinny.
I probably won't be able to eat anymore.
And starving the supersized.
And I'm having soup.
He will expose the damage diets do.
If you carry on like this, you are going to end up in a box in the ground.
And give us a rude food awakening.
This is a week of food for you that's supposed to keep you going.
Plus, journalist Anna Richardson will go to any lengths to expose the truth about extreme diets.
Bad arm, good arm, fat arm, thin arm.
And big bums!
And fearsome fat fighter Gillian McKeith crusades against the nation's big bums.
Show me your bums!
Welcome to Supersize versus Super Skinny. Over the next 8 weeks, 8 extremely underweight people will be booked into this feeding clinic for a radical 5-day diet swap. They will then be sent home with a 3-month healthy eating plan before returning to the clinic for a new weigh-in. But the real shock tactic is they will be joined by a supersized opposite, who'll teach super skinny a lesson in eating whilst tackling their own weight problems. Overseeing proceedings is Dr Christian Jessen.
It's a radical approach, but these extreme opposites are really far more similar than they think. If they can help each other to understand that their relationship with food can change, then it will really benefit them both.
First into the feeding clinic is tiny Tatiana Moxey, a super skinny desperate to plump up.
I'm not very happy with the way that I am at the moment, and so I think it'd be better to look a bit healthier and have a bit more weight on me.
Tatiana has already undergone a thorough medical to make sure she is up to the challenge ahead.
22 inches.
Now it's time to work out the size of the problem.
So you are 93 pounds, okay?
That's just 6 stone, 9 pounds. She's at least 1.5 stone underweight.
I make your BMI to be 15. If I tell you that a normal body mass is between about 20 and 25, you can see that you're actually quite a lot below where you should be. You know what you're going to be doing this week. You're going to swap your diets around. How do you feel about that?
I think it's going to be difficult, but I do want to do it.
19-year-old Sussex customer services worker Tatiana is a serial undereater whose daily diet is the equivalent of a 4-year-old.
I think I've always been slim. I've never been probably over 7 stone. On a typical day, I would probably have a cereal bar or toast for breakfast. I would probably just have a jacket potato with tuna at lunchtime with salad.
But it's a case of her eyes are bigger than her belly. She rarely finishes what's on her plate, even when her parents cook her favourite healthy food.
We normally serve her a full plateful, but she'll only usually eat about a quarter of that, or perhaps even half.
The reason that I want to do this is just because I don't like people touching me, putting their hands around my wrists and saying, oh, you need to put on weight because you're too skinny, you don't eat enough, because they don't really know me, and it does upset me a lot. So I think people would stop doing that if they saw that I did have a little bit more weight on me.
A shock tactic is on its way. Larger-than-life Sandra Andrew is a 39-year-old internet seller who has 5 days to teach Tatiana her joy of eating.
The people that I find that are too slim, I don't know, they kind of remind me of lollipops. You know, the big head and the sort of little tiny body.
And by sizing down to Tat's child-sized diet for a few days, Sandra's own weight problem will be tackled, hopefully once and for all. Where Tatiana spurns food, Sandra embraces it, all too wholeheartedly. And with big eating issues herself, she spends most nights at home gorging on takeaways and fatty snacks.
I don't really have breakfast, lunch, dinner in that sort of traditional sense. Sometimes I might sort of eat 5, 6 times.
These two are polar opposites when it comes to extreme eating, and their bodies scream the results. Sandra's thigh is 7 inches bigger than Tatiana's waist. With a 17-stone difference, these two are here to teach each other a hard lesson in food and nutrition. By swapping diets, they will shock each other into confronting their issues and changing their dangerous habits.
How do you think you're going to get on with your super skinny housemate?
It depends on whether or not she objects to, you know, trying my diet, which maybe she will.
Do you think she'll manage it?
No.
Tatiana has never spent time with an overweight person. So how will she react to her new feeding buddy?
When I see someone that's really, really overweight, like obese, it does make me feel quite like I don't really want to look at you, just because I sort of think, why have you made yourself like that? It's not normal to be like that.
Oh, hello. Hello, I'm Sandra.
I'm Tatiana.
Hi, Tatiana. Oh, God.
What do you normally eat, like, in a day?
Well, sort of, oh my God. Our plate's bigger than your whole tummy. I don't know how you're going to fit it in.
Oh my God, how much is she actually going to eat? And I'm going to have to eat everything that she eats. I'm sure she'll help me through it, and I have to help her because she'll be starving. I don't eat that much.
Like what?
If I had a plate about that big, I'd probably only eat half of it.
I don't think it's going to work.
Sandra will be trying to add fat to tat by handing over her meals for the next few days. So to show exactly what they've got to stomach, Dr Jessen is going to demonstrate just what their week's worth of food looks like.
I want to show you both how ludicrously insane your diets are. And I'm going to show you now exactly how much you get through.
Starting with a week's worth of breakfast.
More toast, anything else? You have a little bit of cereal and a lot of tea, and that's it for an entire week. Let's go on to lunch then. A sandwich, some potatoes. This is a week's worth of lunches. No afternoon snack. I don't know what that is. Oh, that's your soup.
Yeah.
Bit of chicken leg, bit of salad. This is a week of food for you that's supposed to keep you going.
How do you survive? I don't know. Wow.
Do you think now you can see that perhaps you're not actually eating enough, and when you think you're full, you haven't actually taken enough food in?
A woman's recommended daily amount is 2,000 calories a day. Tatiana's consuming just 1,400. So she's under-eating by 4,200 calories, or at least 2 days' worth of food every week. She's lacking nutrients that will soon be replaced when she supersizes her diet to Sandra's.
Right, let's go on to lunch. Meatballs, more rice. I think we're getting into a bit of snacking now. Chips, fish fingers, fish fingers, fish fingers, fried eggs, more fish fingers, burgers, great. More of your curries coming in, lots more white bread. Can you see now where you're going wrong?
Sandra's clocking up 3,700 calories a day, a staggering overeat of 11,900 calories, or 6 days' worth of food every week. Still to come, Dr Christian Jessen gives Tatiana a shocking diagnosis.
Because you're at such an increased risk of damage to your joints, damage to the ligaments.
Anna Richardson discovers the truth about extreme model diets.
I'm going to be really hungry in about 12 minutes' time.
Bam, big bums!
And it's bottoms up for Gillian McKeith as she takes on the nation's rears.
Ladies, quiet! Snip it!
We're all obsessed with the size of our bottoms, and no wonder. Britain's asses are the largest in Europe. I'm on a campaign to ban big bums.
I'm here to get your bums into shape.
And restore our national pride. But first, I'm travelling the length and breadth of the country to find out just how big are British bums. And once I get my hands on those big-bottomed lasses, I'll get them to try out the products that promise to slim them.
Oh, stop right there. What's your bum like?
Well, I've got about an average bum, I'd say.
Have you? Do you want to turn around and see it?
It's about an average bum.
Are you clenching? Is she clenching? No. Your mum's bum's all right. Like that, it's
Definitely.
muscly. You think your bum's big?
Yeah.
Hello? That is not a big bum. This is a bit like playing with dough. I have to say your mum's bum's more toned.
A nationwide survey has found the average British bum comes in at a fulsome 40.5 inches. It's time to do something about it. I've drummed up a sample of 101 saggy-assed hopefuls. From Portsmouth to York, Cardiff to Coventry, over 100 women have answered my call for bum and country. I'm ready to see my privates on parade.
Ample asses, bountiful butts, of which there are plenty. We've got to do something about it. So, let's see what you've all got.
And I'll be whipping them into shape, region by region. Tonight, I'm tackling the bots from knots.
We're on a massive mission to reduce the bums of Nottinghamshire. This is a sit-down bum. It's a 55-inch bum. Yeah. There's a big problem in the Nottingham area where the bums have gotten too big.
Sorry, gentlemen.
Sorry! That's all you can say. And surrounding areas are not off the hook either.
At an average of 46 inches, this brigade are 5.5 inches above the national average, which adds up to a side-splitting total of 417, almost the size of the back end of a bus. I'll be giving those butts in Nottingham a good seeing to later, and they won't believe their eyes when they see the horseplay I've got in mind.
Tiny Tatiana has been eating the equivalent of a 4-year-old. And weighing in at just 6 stone 9 pounds, she's at least 1.5 stone underweight. With her body at risk from serious damage, she's booked into our feeding clinic and hopes that swapping diets with Sandra for the next few days will kickstart some serious weight gain. It's the first day of the diet swap.
All right, breakfast. What am I having?
You're going to hate me so much, but you're actually just having a cereal bar.
What? A cereal bar? It's a low-calorie one at that. You are so joking me. You're so joking me.
I'm not joking.
A cereal bar.
I can't believe I've got to eat that for breakfast.
Well, it's actually, well, I think I'd rather this than a cereal bar.
Sandra faces a breakfast behind bars.
Where's the rest of it, like?
Well, Tat's not hot for her plateful of leftover Indian takeaway.
It's quite disgusting, actually. I can't believe you eat this for breakfast.
Tatiana struggles to hurry her curry, but meets with defeat. Lunchtime, and Tat faces a white bread buttered sandwich stuffed with full-fat brie.
I hate brie, and there was loads of butter in it. I feel really sick. It was like probably the worst meal I've ever eaten. Oh.
Followed by an afternoon of snacking through roast chicken. But Sandra's hardly eaten all day, so preparing Tat's supper is real torment.
Look at this cupboard, crying out loud. I'm hungry, and these are just like ready to be eaten.
After supper, Tatiana has a food-packed evening of munching that carries on until 2 in the morning.
I think after I've had a couple more bites of this, I probably won't be able to eat anymore.
But Sandra, whose home-based lifestyle lets her sleep late and eat late, is facing her first night without midnight feasts.
It's difficult because I feel like I haven't had nothing warm. I don't know. I was saying to someone the other day that when I have something warm, I feel like I'm getting like hugged from inside. And I've not had nothing really warm.
At 2:37, Tatiana finally throws in the towel, having consumed more than double her usual daily calories. But all that chowing down is paying off.
Sandra's diet is excessive, but it's helping Tatiana to discover new foods, and this will enable her to enjoy a much healthier and more varied diet in the future.
Dr Jessen wants to make sure Tat keeps up the good work. He's hoping this criminal lineup will make her face up to what her diet is doing to her body and encourage her to embrace food more readily. The pale lines on her hands indicate a lack of iron and possible anemia.
Women who undereat, their periods often stop completely, and it's a sort of attempt for your body to preserve whatever nutrients and iron it can. Then that'll affect your fertility.
If you're underweight and your body fat drops below 13%, you risk your period stopping. Dark circles under the eyes are the early warning signs of chronic fatigue.
And the other thing that we can't actually see here, but it will happen, is that you'll start to get really bad wrinkles and dry skin and thinning hair because of all that lack of nutrients.
Being underweight can lead to brittle hair that breaks easily and even falls out. And there's even more worrying news for her bones.
Being so light, you're not putting any stresses on your bones at all. You're at such an increased risk of damage to your joints, damage to the ligaments and the tendons, and also fractures of your bones. You're not taking in enough calcium, so your body will remodel your bones. It'll take away the minerals in them and make them really weak.
If you're underweight and malnourished, you're at increased risk of osteoporosis, a dangerous condition of fragile bones normally associated with the elderly.
I completely agree with what you're saying. I mean, there's not really much I can say about that.
What can we do about it then? One simple thing.
Make me eat more.
Make you eat more and eat properly. And all of these things, everything that I've talked about here, will correct itself. Okay?
Day 2 of the swap, and Sandra's cooking up another feast for lunch. West Indian rice with pork in onion gravy. Oh, and a little bit of salad. But Tatiana's Italian job proves little respite.
Pasta makes me hungry. After about an hour, I'm going to be starving. Or maybe not, I don't know. How are you getting on?
I like the rice. It's quite easy to eat. The pork is filling me up quite a lot.
Yeah, because it's quite a big chunk.
Tatiana chows down with workmanlike zeal. But her famished flatmate's not feeling sympathetic.
Name of the game, innit?
They're over the first hurdle, but this lot are still at rock bottom. I'm in Nottingham with my flabby-bottomed brigade, and I'm about to reveal the arsenal I've got in store for their asses.
Ladies, I wanted to get you real horses, but I'm afraid the insurance wouldn't cover it because your asses are too big. So, ladies, take a look at these little beauties. They are horse riding simulators designed to do the same thing as a horse. So your bums will be just fine. So I don't know what you're waiting for. Get straddling. Oh, God. How did it turn out? Did you like that?
Saggy bottoms are one of the most common reasons people start exercising. The muscles in the bottom, the gluteus maximus, are the largest in the body. The makers of these horsey riders, costing £399 each, say that the effort to keep your balance is what will tone muscle and burn calories. So a daily half-hour session can lead to a half-inch rear reduction every week. But what's the verdict on all this horseplay?
Yeah, I can feel it already.
All down, yeah.
At the bottom of your back and at the top of your bum.
Bottom, yeah.
Right, you can feel it. Yeah. Do you feel that this will do your bum some good?
Definitely.
How do you know?
I can feel the tingling now in my butt and the tops of my thighs and my stomach, and hopefully it'll do my chin as well.
How does it feel?
It feels fantastic.
Does it?
Yeah, it feels really good.
So, I'm hoping the butts are going to go from this to this.
Super skinny Tatiana is broadening her tastes on the diet swap. The 19-year-old grew up in Portugal and turns her nose up at any food that isn't homemade. Tat explains to Supersize housemate Sandra how her overseas childhood has shaped her eating habits.
I don't know, I think I eat a lot more food when I'm in Portugal because I prefer the food and I prefer the type of food, Like about 2 months ago I went on holiday to Portugal and I feel like when I go there I do feel like I put on a little bit more weight than I would here, but as soon as I come back to England I'll go back to like this again.
Oh. Unlike Tatiana, Sandra's family life has always revolved around meals and food-filled occasions.
This is Mum's kitchen. As you can see, there's a lot of food on Christmas Day, yeah. We do this quite often, really. Like, Mum will just decide one day and she'll just, you know, just start buying a whole heap of meat and stuff and loads of people come round. That's just a traditional thing.
But Sandra's eating has not always been a happy event. Losing her baby son 3 years ago saw Sandra spiral into an eating-filled depression.
I just couldn't sleep, I was just like so down, I couldn't really do anything really, just stopped living. Yeah. And I think it even got to a point where I didn't even care if I put weight on, I didn't even care.
So did you eat more after that then?
Yeah, I just ate more.
As well as changing her diet, Sandra also offers a challenge to Tat's stereotypical ideas about fat people.
I just didn't really think that overweight people would have a reason for it. I just thought it just sort of like came on because they started to eat more. But there was obviously a reason for it, so.
Sandra has broken through Tat's fat assumptions, and now she's breaking through her diet too. And the constant food bombardment triggers Tatiana's appetite into action.
Yeah, the first time in the last 2 days I've actually wanted to eat.
Wow.
With Tatiana hungry and appreciating taste for the first time on the swap, she's finally discovering a love of food that will help give her body the nutrients it desperately needs.
It's cheesy coleslaw as well.
It is, yeah.
I love that.
Tatiana has very little cheese in her diet. If you're cutting down on dairy because you think it's unhealthy, think again. Cheese will give Tatiana a much-needed and essential calcium boost, vital for healthy teeth and bones. Other calcium-rich foods include tin-boned salmon, Brazil nuts and spinach. Tatiana's getting some much-needed nourishment. But not all the new sensations Sandra's serving up are to Tatiana's taste.
I hate cider. I can't eat any more of that.
Wow,
Piled up here.
I know.
But another night of Sandra's after-hours eating lies ahead, starting at 8 with leftover rice in a pork chop. Next, an 11 p.m. nibble of chocolate bars with a cup of tea. And a Sandra-sized snack of 2 pork sausages in a generously buttered baguette rounds things off at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Sandra's so-called snacks are actually the size of most people's whole meals, and I hope that by seeing Tatiana struggling through these, it'll make her realise just how much food she's getting through every day.
Tatiana gets stuck in, but Sandra's suffering.
God, this is like torture.
I'm not finding it that pleasurable either, to be honest.
Yeah. How can I make this bit of orange in the bottom stretch?
Sip it.
Oh my God, no.
With her calorie intake drastically increased, Tatiana's full of fighting spirit.
I'm finding it quite a challenge. I quite enjoy it, like doing something that I wouldn't normally do and sort of making myself do it. It's, in a way, kind of fun. It sounds strange, but I do it.
And Sandra's appetite is finally getting some recreation.
I'm learning that you have to wait, 6 hours for your food. You're gonna collapse. Your body can cope with it. You can get fit.
Coming up, Sandra reaches breaking point on Tat's tiny portion.
I'll get more nourishment from my cherry flavoured.
The toilets at the fashion show.
How's that for beauty queen? Yeah.
Anna Richardson builds into façade bizarre model diets. And Ian McKeith and her dumb waiters fish for the truth about breakfast calories.
I personally would go for traditional English breakfast.
Which you had this morning.
It's what an Englishman, they go to war on.
I'm Anna Richardson, sometime journalist, sometime TV producer, but always a failed serial dieter. Over the next few weeks, I'm putting the most extreme and super fast weight loss suggestions to the test. From colonic massage, to diet pills, bon appetit, to the baby food diet. I'll battle through them all to see what really works and what's just plain mad. Like most women, I'm constantly bombarded with mixed messages about dieting, detox, and dropping a dress size in a week. Women are obsessed with being slim, and I'm certainly no different. Wheat-free, Atkins, cabbage soup, you name it, I've done it. But I'm still a size 14, and I guess I'm carrying a few extra pounds.
I reckon I'm about 10.5 stone-ish, so... OK. No way! I'm 11.5 stone.
Like no other, flawless, absolutely flawless.
Apart from the extra stone and a half, I suppose there's nothing particularly wrong with my body, but I still think I need to drop a dress size or two. I'm constantly faced with glamorous images of skinny women and made to feel like I don't quite cut it. Like 84% of women in the UK, I wish I was slimmer. We're a nation obsessed, and to be honest, which one of us wouldn't want to look like her?
Like no other, flawless.
Oh, I tell you what, one of these days, my thighs, better than yours.
So how do these models stay so super skinny? Is it really all cigarettes and black coffee? I'm meeting up with ex-model Gemma Clark, who's promised to let me in on a bizarre model diet.
I was told once to try the apple diet.
The apple diet?
Yes.
Right, OK, so what does this consist of, can I guess?
Just eating apples.
OK,
so it's not healthy.
Any kind of particular apple, or...?
No, I think, free reign.
If it gets the catwalk queens back into the size zeros before a show, then what will it do for me?
5 bags of apples coming up.
I'm going to give this apple diet a go. I'll be eating nothing but apples for a week. Do not try this at home. I'm under strict medical supervision, but I'm still hoping to shed at least 5 pounds.
Right, I'm going to have to clear out my cupboards if I'm going to be only eating apples, because this is going to be too much of a temptation. Spaghetti, bananas... My biscuits in! Oh, jockey biggies. Farewell, old friends. Till we meet again. Very much look forward to that. You may well be scoffing and chucking in, I've got to eat apples. I tell you what, I'm going to get really bored of eating these. My tummy's rumbling already. It's my last mouthful of meal number 1. I don't feel satisfied. I'm going to be really hungry in about 12 minutes' time. I am seriously going to have to think about something else to do with apples, because I am sick to death of eating raw apples. I really am. So I might try, because I've never done it before, I might try and bake one. One baking tray. You take your vital ingredient. Nigella, tell you what, love, watch out. Right, okay, let's check out this apple. It smells nice. Oh, you are kidding. Really can't eat that. I'm quite a sociable person. You know, I like to eat a lot, I like to drink a lot, I like to laugh a lot with my friends, and doing this kind of diet, you just can't do that.
I don't think I could.
It smells incredible.
Just think of how much fatter we'll be tomorrow.
It's incredibly isolating and puts you on the outside of the group, which I'm not used to being on, and I don't like it. It's boring, it's tedious, I've got a headache, I feel sick. It's misery.
Is this really what models put themselves through to stay skinny? I want a second opinion. Maybe gorgeous ex-model Charlotte Carter has some alternative secrets to staying catwalk slim.
Charlotte, when you were first spotted for your modelling potential, how thin were you? What was your body like then?
I was extremely thin, apparently, at that stage. I've been suffering from anorexia since I was a kid, really.
Wow, so already you had an eating disorder?
Yeah. Sometimes I just eat, like, about 3 apples a day. And then sometimes...
I know how that feels.
Yeah, exactly. I started, you know, taking diet pills, abusing laxatives.
Really?
Yeah, because I just wanted to kind of shock my system, you know, so to speak. And then I could go back to eating small, moderate amounts, but it never really happens that way, does it?
What was going on around you with other girls? What were they doing?
Laxative abuse. Certain fashion weeks, it was not uncommon to see cubicles with diarrhea just all over the place, you know.
No. What?
Yeah.
The toilets at the fashion shows were covered in diarrhea?
How's that for beauty queen, huh? Yeah.
My God.
I have seen girls actually shit themselves. Yeah.
Is it worth it, Charlotte? Is it worth it?
No, it's not. It's not.
I'm actually really shocked. Behind this glamorous facade, there is a dark, dark world. But despite now knowing this, I still feel pressure as a woman to be thinner. I don't know how much more of this I can take.
I really am sick to death. I'm sick to death of apples.
Find out later if I stick it out.
Super skinny Tatiana has been supersizing her diet with the help of eating mentor Sandra. She's tried new foods, doubled her calorie intake, and finally started to enjoy eating. But morning day 3 and Tatiana's failed to finish last night's mammoth snack fest.
I didn't do very well with the late night meals last night because I was so tired that I just started to fall asleep while I was like trying to eat it, and I ended up just putting it down on the plate and falling asleep.
Sandra's really struggling on Tatiana's child-sized portions. But this swap is not just about food. They're also getting a taste of each other's lifestyles. Tatiana is a martial arts expert and hopes a surprise jiu-jitsu lesson will make up for Sandra's meagre rations.
All right, we're going to start off doing some front strangles.
Sandra never does any sport, but shows you don't have to be super skinny to work those moves.
Not too bad at all. Up in the air. Left and knee.
In fact, she's finding it a good way to vent the frustration of those hunger pangs.
And then lift. OK, turn round the other way. Oh! And stand.
I was pleased to introduce Sandra to jiu-jitsu because it's something that she wouldn't normally do and something that would give her exercise and stuff.
It's not for real! Something like that For big people, I could say that's definitely a recommendation.
OK, well done. Thank you very much.
The final dinner of the swap sees Tat getting some of Sandra's Caribbean home cooking. But Tat's offering of soup without bread is looking embarrassingly measly.
And you're having, oh my God, you're having, like, you know, my mum's speciality, rice and peas with beef stew and a lovely drink. And I'm having soup. I think I'll get more nourishment from my cherry-flavoured lipstick. Didn't enjoy the experience. There was no chewing. It was just like in your mouth, swallow, the end.
Soup is actually a really good option for those trying to lose weight, as the liquid content is bulky in the stomach, making it slow to digest and leaving you fuller for longer. Swapping diets is starting to pay off for super skinny Tatiana, who's realising the error of her ways.
Now, after being here for a few days, I wouldn't have eaten just the soup. If I had eaten the soup, I would still be hungry.
Not only am I attempting to reduce the size of the nation's rears, I'm also on a quest to see if the people of Britain know a high-calorie meal when they see one. But don't worry, I've done all the hard work for you, and I'm ready to arm you with the knowledge so you can make the right choices. This week, it's breakfast. So me and my bevy of beefcake are bearing down on Billingsgate Fish Market to find out if the good fishmongers of London know a good breakfast when they see one.
So, if you're going to be naughty but nice and get away with it, you'll need to know which breakfast has the highest calories and which has the lowest. I've got 3 versions of a breakfast: blueberry muffin with skim milk latte, full English, and crunchy oaty cereal with Greek yogurt, honey, and orange juice. Let's see if the fishmongers can count a calorie or two, shall we? Now, which one has the most calories, would you say? The
English breakfast.
Okay.
That I wouldn't touch with a barge pole.
You wouldn't touch this with a barge pole?
I would have said that's the most unhealthiest, but I'll probably be surprised. I personally would go for the traditional English breakfast.
Which you had this morning?
Because what an Englishman, they go to war on that.
Right then, the results are in of the 100 fishmongers that we asked, and 63 think that the full English is the highest in calories. Are they right, or are they wrong, boys?
They were completely wrong. With a shocking 784 calories, the muffin and coffee have the highest count. For the same amount of calories, you could eat 34 rice cakes, or 5 buttered crumpets, or 13 Jaffa cakes. Next, with 574 calories, is the crunchy oat cereal with Greek yogurt and honey and orange juice. Some cereals come sugar-loaded, so watch out for those hidden calories. But if you like your morning cereal, I've come up with these 3 lower-calorie alternatives. Surprisingly, the full English breakfast contains the least calories at just 339. But remember, it's all about the way it's cooked. Use rindless back bacon, grill the mushrooms and tomatoes, and keep the bread wholemeal and butter-free.
You could climb a mountain on that, guys, couldn't you? That's what makes it the country we are. That's how we won 2 world wars, guys, with food like that.
Oh, God, here we go.
Gillian's putting our food stereotypes to rights. But how about Tatiana and Sandra? Having completed the shock therapy of the diet swap, have they learnt enough to go forward on a completely new healthy diet plan?
So, guys, you've done it. You've got to the end of your diet swap. How was it?
You know what? I thought I was going to collapse when I saw Tatiana, but and I actually thought I was going to collapse when I couldn't eat anything after 6. But
And how's it really been? Have you managed?
I've managed, and I've managed to sleep well as well.
Are you surprised that you managed?
I'm very surprised.
And that's a really important thing for you, is you were staying up so late, and you were kind of bored, and it was just eat, eat, eat. Oh, it's 1 o'clock, I'm not sleepy, let's eat some more. And it wasn't really necessary, was it?
No, not at all.
Tatiana, what about you? How did the whole diet swap go for you?
It went a lot better than I thought it was going to be. I thought the portions were going to be a lot larger rather than smaller ones throughout the day.
I'm really glad you said that, because something I want you to have learned is the fact that you can eat more, and you don't have to eat one enormous meal, like an enormous dinner or enormous lunch. You can eat little but often, so you're always eating, and then you're not feeling bloated because you've just forced a vast amount of food in.
It's been difficult, but at the same time, I've enjoyed it because, I've realised that I can eat a lot more than I thought I could.
But it's not just Tat who's learned a lesson.
I genuinely feel like I've learned a lot about myself, and also about, the way I look at food, and the way, what food is supposed to really do for you, that it's not supposed to be in control of you, that I'm supposed to be in control of it.
It's been a big, bumpy ride for them both, but the really hard work has only just begun. They now have a healthy, balanced diet plan to follow for the next 3 months. Coming up, the results of Tat and Sandra's final weigh-in.
You were 6 stone 9 pounds. You're now...
Have the horsey riders managed to reduce the rears of Gillian's Nottingham ladies? And has an apple a day kept the pounds at bay? We'll see how Anna Richardson fared on her apple-only diet.
I'm less than halfway through my week-long apple diet, but already I'm bored witless with apples.
I love carbs. I'm really craving carbs. Pasta, rice, chips. I've lost a pound.
3 days in, more than 40 apples down. Hunger pangs, cravings, and I've only lost a bleeding pound.
Tell you what, apple diet, mission failed.
Next week, can the world of cosmetic weight loss torpedo the pounds?
I have just done the biggest poo known to mankind.
It's 4 weeks since I set my big-bottomed brigade from Nottingham their tush-toning task. But were those horse-riding simulators hot to trot, or a bit of a donkey?
Women of Nottinghamshire, you got the rodeo horse rider. So the question is, how big are your saddles now? Let me see those tighter tushes. Let me see what you've got. Oh, yeah, looking good.
But what will the tape measure reveal?
Right, so what were you before?
47 before, Gillian.
47. Okay, do you think you've lost anything?
Yes, I think I've lost a couple of inches.
Well, you have. We've lost 3.5 inches off your bum.
Yay! My bum feels so much tighter. I do used to feel a little bit tight to start off with, but I think it's because my bum's probably lifted.
4 weeks ago, these knotbots clocked in at a seam-splitting total of 417 inches.
As a group, you lost 13.5 inches. Good for you, ladies of Nottinghamshire. Good for you.
They've lost almost 1.5 inches each. Well, still room for improvement. Next week, I'll be revealing what I'm sending to Coventry to perk up those Midlands posteriors.
"12 weeks ago, tiny Tatiana Moxey was an extreme skinny, chronically under-eating by 2 days' worth of food every week.
How are you? Really good to see you again. How's it been going?
Good, thanks.
Doing all the things you're supposed to have been doing?
Yep.
I can't wait to find out if you have actually put on some weight. Let's see how you've been doing, OK? Come with me.
She's now following a healthy, balanced diet plan and is looking glowing. But will she have put on those crucial extra pounds? It's time for her to get on the scales for a final weigh-in.
Oh, you look lovely.
But to share the results of the weigh-in, she is reunited with her diet swap partner, Sandra.
When we first met you, you were 6 stone 9 pounds. And you'd never been above 7 stone in your life, had you?
No.
You're now 7 stone 1. So you are above 7 stone. What do you think of that?
I felt a lot more energetic. Before, I was like really tired all the time. Now I don't feel like that at all.
Does she look like she's put some weight on?
Yeah, she does. Lovely haircut and everything. And she's got a lovely face as well anyway, so...
She's also put on 2 inches round her waist and each thigh. She's even got a cleavage for the first time in her life. And with an almost half-stone gain, Tat's on target to reach her weight goal within a year. But has Tat's supersized feeding buddy, Sandra, managed to wave goodbye to her food issues and see the benefits of a healthy diet?
When we first met you, Sandra, you were 23 stone 4 pounds. Now, you're 22 stone 4.
Wow!
You've lost a whole stone.
Oh, my God.
What do you think?
Will I be in my bikini next year? That's what I think.
She's also lost 5 inches from her waist and 6.5 inches from each thigh.
I'm so happy.
Oh, so am I.
Are you?
It's made a big difference to how I feel. For me, it's been life-changing. Every pound I've lost, it's not been hard, and that was what was really important to me. I've sort of learned how to eat different. I still like to have my hugs inside, but just maybe with just a little less calories.
I feel a lot more happier now. I feel a lot more energetic, I'm more lively. I tend to go out a lot more now. It has been good.
Tatiana's exceeded my expectations. She's done far better than I actually thought she would. And she's proven that just little changes, subtle things, can make such a big difference.
Next time, can a supersized man mountain fatten up a super skinny food phobic?
To me, it's like eating 10 bags of Haribos.
There's a lot of things that you don't like, really, is it?
I just feel really sick.
Next up, from potions to superstitions in extreme locations, meet 2 British medicine men as they go wild.